Hello, it is your friendly yoga crew, Mary and Val, instructing you through a conditioning sequence for peak flow yoga. This conditioning sequence helps to build strength and flexibility so that you can do an Ekapada Kaundinyasana 2. So that's the like a side crow, but you've got one leg extended out to the side, the other one back, and you're twisted in it. So that means we're going to be working elements of twist and upper body strength, lots of upper body strength, lots of core strength, lots of hip opening. So let's get right to it, okay? So I'm assuming you've already centered, just like we have. And so we're going to move right into a forearm plank. So 3 breaths in a forearm plank in which you have like a 45-degree angle at angle in of the forearm. All right, so Val's going to count her 3 breaths, and you're going to do it for about the same amount of time. Hinge your shoulders a little bit forward, hips, yeah. All right, so you're trying to keep the hips in line between heels and shoulders. Val's doing a great job. So then she's going to tip it to her right side for 3 breaths, and when she does that, she took her top foot in front and reaches forward with the opposite arm for 3 breaths. And this is setting her up to do something that's quite more challenging next. So 3 breaths this way, and then she's going to tip onto the ball of the foot that's in front and reach forward. You're going to keep this arm reaching forward.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's her transition. Okay, so you see how it's opposite arm, opposite leg. 3 breaths like this is plenty, maybe less. Maybe one less or something, but breathe. Okay, then 3 breaths here in your standard plank. Drop the space behind the heart in a little bit, but keep your pelvic bowl tilted backwards. She's doing great. I'm sure you are too. But I told the people in class this time that some of these things are going to maybe be things that you can't do the first time, and you'll have to build to them. And what we're going to do in class is we're going to build to doing more of them, or more length in them. So you might have to modify. And so if you have to modify, when we come into the next thing, you could do that on a knee, right? So the back leg could be a knee instead of a foot. Don't do it, don't. Because she's capable. Lift your arm as much as you can, right arm. Yep, Push your chest forward in this because it helps keep extension in your back. Heel will not have to go very high there. Okay, then we go back to the forearm plank. And she did it. 3 breaths there. So take 3 breaths there. So this is a super challenging little sequence. It warms you up fast. How's that? Okay, so now, fingertip cobra. She'll take her hands wide of her shoulders, and when she inhales, just press the elbows back and down, and yeah, super awesome. You want to keep space in between the fronts of the shoulders. That's really mainly what I'm looking for, drawing them apart. So we'll do about 4 of those. We, meaning Val and you, and then after 4 of those, we are going to, what are we going to do? I think you might as well just roll it over, because the next thing is, this is where we end up backwards. The next thing is some core work for twisting core work. So take your knees up just above your hips. Knees will be at about a 90-degree angle. And we're going to drop the knees side to side. And as she does that, she's keeping her heels a little higher. So her heels will be a little bit higher than her knees. And don't put the knees or the legs all the way down to the ground. I like to have you inhale to the side, exhale back up. It's kind of cool. I can hang out. There's no way I can really help you. Sorry, girl. Just gotta do it. So now what we're gonna do is straighten the legs, same thing. But when you do this, dig your left arm in as your legs go left. If you bend your elbow 90, you can kind of keep your actual left, and put your fist up to the sky. Now you're gonna do your right. It's gonna be like this.
But going in and out of it?
Yeah. So when you go in, just keep them both like this.
Okay.
Because see how you can dig your left one in and you can ground your right shoulder a little bit more? Then when you go the opposite way, you can dig your right one in and the left shoulder might be able to stay down more. Okay, so you're kind of just using your elbow to help with the counterbalance, because this, otherwise you won't be able to lower your legs very much without the opposite shoulder popping up. Next time that you go left, you're going to leave them there and hover there a few breaths. We're going to try to go for 3. Okay, so you're breathing, right? You're breathing. Try to plant your right shoulder down to the mat and keep breathing. And then release the feet down, the whole leg down. Yeah. Okay, so relax everything, lay your arms out, turn your gaze back to the right, and breathe. So you're just letting your body release in this. You want a little bit of length of the hip away from the shoulder. All right, so now we're going to come back up, take the legs back up. Okay, make sure your hips are in the center of the mat there, and then, yeah, it's the other side. And you hover a little bit first, so do your elbow thing, so you can hover. So it's the right elbow, see? So that works. Digging that one in will help you drop the left shoulder and get your legs lower. Okay, maybe one more breath. Okay, drop them out and soften. Now, another fun thing to do at this point, I like to, is to get a 90-degree angle between the legs and the body. So you can shimmy yourself over, or you have a yoga teacher drag you over, and then making the length of the hip away from the shoulder. Okay, and then we'll take it back up to center. And it's time for some work, I guess. I gotta look at my cheat sheet. Okay. So the next thing that we work is the reverse planks. I'm gonna want you to face forward for them though. So, however you can.
So, you want my head at that end?
Yeah. Oh, crap. So this next one is loads of fun.
Sure.
All right, so I'll say it, and Val is going to try to do it. On an inhale, take your hips up. Oh, wait a second. Go ahead and lower them down. Val is set up for reverse plank. She is resting on her elbows, and they are either directly beneath her shoulders or a little bit up the mat in this direction. And that will keep you from kind of shrugging the heads of the humerus forward. Okay, so, yep, go ahead and lift the hips up. Straight line. Okay, that's the inhale. The exhale is take your right leg off the floor as high as you want. The inhale is place it back down. The exhale is take the other one off the floor. The inhale is place it back down. The exhale is lower yourself all the way down, even your upper body, so that your neck gets a break. And then inhale your legs up about halfway, and then exhale them all the way down. Okay, elbows in, inhale into the plank. Exhale, right leg goes up. Inhale, it looks easy.
No.
Exhale, we take the left foot up. This ain't easy. And then inhale there. And then exhale, release everything down. And then inhale, both legs come about halfway up. And then exhale to lower them down. So we'll do it one more time. All right, you got it. Yeah, The leg comes up. And this helps if you're playing some really good, strong beat tunes. Something that keeps you motivated. All right, so she's going to hold it halfway up. So maybe a little lower, maybe a little lower. So you're trying to keep your low back on the mat, so she might have to do, a sensation of tilting pelvis backwards, or see how she's got her hands underneath the back of her hips if the low back comes off of the floor. Okay, now the good news is we get to do the reverse plank one more time, so the legs lower down. And then we come out to that reverse plank on the elbows, okay? And then take the right leg off and just take an extra breath, okay? And these will build too. So we just take an extra inhale and an exhale and an inhale, and now you can take it down.
All the way?
No. The rest of you are holding it and you're taking the other leg up. Okay, so then this one goes up. That was an exhale raise. We take an inhale and an exhale, and then an inhale, set it down. Yeah, something like that. Exhale, release it down, finally. Okay, lay your arms overhead and just breathe up and down your spine a few times because you deserve it, but you didn't have to do reverse planks to deserve it. Okay, so remember that. Stop trying to earn everything and just realize that, you get to have some things. You don't have to fight for everything and earn it. A little thing called grace. That's what that is. Okay, we're gonna now rock forward and backward, knees into the chest, and then you'll rock all the way up to a chair. And we'll do about a 1 minute hold in a chair. You can choose to go longer if you love chair, okay? So, go ahead and sit in your chair, and yeah. Okay, so what Val's doing is a perfect chair. She's got her feet together, she's squeezing her knees together, and there's a back bend of the upper back, so she is kind of pushing the chest forward and upward, and lifting chest up into the space between the hands. She has weight in her heels, I hope, right? Yeah, she does. And she's wondering if I'm really timing this, and the answer is no. So that means, you know, it's dangerous, it's risky. Just checking in for a little bit more opening there. And we're gonna keep breathing and keep lifting through the chest. Lower the hips, teeny, teeny bit. I know I'm awful. Val had to do this whole sequence this morning already, and then I made her come back to film it. Okay, one more breath. And then you get to fold, Uttanasana, forward fold. And then you can choose to take your feet hip width apart, you know, if that's something you need for a little bit more space. But feel free to keep the feet together in that if you do have that flexibility and you feel spacious. All right, so we've got one more little sequence left. And it will be a side plank in which we work the hip in a way that will really help us for the Ekapada Kaunayasana. So step it on back to a down dog. So this will be side plank on the hands. And take one ball of footprint step back, and this will line you up for a side plank. Hinge your shoulders above your wrists, so your hips will be a little bit higher than regular plank here. Tip onto your right side. And so this is a regular old side plank. Now she's going to take her knee up in front of her, and then she's going to extend her leg out straight towards me. Okay, on the inhale, lower the leg to the floor, and then on the exhale, she's going to raise it up. That's it, and she's going to do that 2 more times. Inhale to lower, and exhale to raise. And just try to lightly set your foot down. You know, it's hard. And then back to a plank. Take an inhale and plank, standard plank. On the exhale, we're going to a chaturanga for 3 breaths. Yeah. So exhale into your chaturanga and hold. Oh, she's got great form. We want to keep the fronts of shoulders back. Yep. Tilt the pelvic bowl backwards so that you still have the support through the core. And after 3 breaths, we get to release down. We're not going to push up into the up dog at that point. But now take a high cobra. So that'll be with your hands, you know, quite low down on the mat. Take a couple of breaths there. Remember in your chaturanga that there is an arc and on which your shoulder can fall on. You don't have to come into the deepest chaturanga where the shoulder is directly in front of the elbow. You can come to any point on the arc between plank shoulder and shoulder directly in front of elbow. All right, cool. How about you go right into the down dog from there?
Whoops.
At least I didn't say all that while you were in chaturanga.
True.
Things can always be worse. Okay, they can be better too. Okay, staying positive. Take the left, wait, no, yeah. Take a ball of footprint, step back, and you're gonna tip to this side. All right, so now she will be taking the knee up, extending her heel straight out in front of her hip as best as she can, and then the inhale is lower the heel to the floor, and the exhale is raise it up. So I say as best as you can because your hamstring is going to hold you to a certain degree. Everybody will be held a little differently because of the tension, because of the resistance of their hamstring. All right, and so we get to do that same inhale plank, exhale chaturanga. So she's got an arc here that she can stop on. She doesn't have to go real deep, and she's going to breathe at the height that she can hold for the 3 breaths. Look out in front of you a little bit. Keep breathing and try to do that. Tuck the tailbone downward and then, yeah, okay. Now high cobra again. Not as long this time. I don't have any stories to tell. All right, and we made it. Let's go back to the down dog. So eventually, yeah, after a 3 breath hold in a chaturanga, we want to have the strength to be able to, with integrity, go from that to an up dog. But usually we need to build the strength first, so that's why I want you releasing down. But just know that you can work towards that. All right, so that's our entire initial conditioning sequence for this. Go ahead and come to a child's pose. And so you can add on to this, meaning like you can do more repetitions of everything that you saw in here as you build the strength. You can take longer hold, take a few more breaths. And the strength that you're building is pretty extreme. So a huge namaste to you for taking on